The coffee mug shattered against the kitchen floor. Hot liquid splattering like blood from an old wound. Auden froze. Her hands trembling as the sharp crack echoed through the empty Seattle apartment. "Damn it," she whispered. But it wasn't about the mug. It was the email glowing on her laptop screen, Mom's funeral arrangements. "Come home if you can." Home. The word twisted like a knife in her gut. Dredging up years of buried pain, the rejection. The silence after she came out at 18. The way her conservative family in rural Washington had erased her like a bad memory. She sank to her knees amid the shards. A sob catching in her throat. The bitter scent of spilled coffee mingling with the faint musty smell of rain-soaked air seeping through the cracked window. That's when Emery walked in. Keys jangling softly in her hand. She paused in the doorway. Her graphic designer's eye taking in the scene, the broken ceramic. Auden's hunched shoulders. The dim morning light filtering through the blinds casting long shadows. "Auden? Hey. What's going on?" Her voice was gentle. Laced with that Midwestern warmth she'd carried from her Ohio roots. Even after 5 years in the Pacific Northwest. Emery, with her short blonde hair still tousled from sleep and her favorite flannel shirt half-buttoned, dropped her bag and knelt beside her girlfriend, careful not to step on the glass. Auden looked up. Tears blurring Emery's face. "It's my mom. She's gone." The words hung heavy, punctuated by Auden's ragged breath. She hadn't spoken to her mother in a decade. Not since the day she'd screamed, "You're no daughter of mine," after Auden confessed her love for women. The pain had festered, hidden behind Auden's freelance writing gigs. Her late-night typing sessions where she poured out fictional heartaches but never her own. Emery knew bits and pieces, the way Auden tensed at family holiday mentions. The forced smiles during pride parades, but Auden had always brushed it off with a laugh. Saying, "Ancient history. Babe." Emery wrapped her arms around Auden, pulling her close. The familiar scent of Emery's vanilla shampoo grounded her. A soft anchor in the storm. "I'm so sorry," Emery murmured, her hand stroking Auden's back in slow circles. But Auden pulled away slightly, her voice cracking. "Why should I even go? She hated who I am. Hated us." The "us" came out raw, exposing the fear Auden had buried deepest, that her family's rejection mirrored some flaw in her, making her unlovable. Emery's eyes softened, but she didn't sugarcoat it. That's what Auden loved about her, the honesty wrapped in empathy. Honed from Emery's own coming-out struggles in a small-town art scene. They'd met 2 years ago at a Seattle indie bookstore event, where Auden was reading from her latest short story collection. Emery, sketching in the back row, had caught her eye with a quiet intensity. Their first date was coffee turned into a rainy walk along Puget Sound. Hands brushing until they intertwined. It was easy. Natural. Like breathing. But now, in this moment of crisis, Auden felt the walls closing in. "What if going back there breaks me all over again?" she whispered. The distant hum of city traffic outside underscoring her isolation. Emery stood, helping Auden up, and they cleaned the mess in silence. The clink of glass into the trash bin a rhythmic punctuation to their thoughts. As the sun climbed higher, bathing the kitchen in golden light, Emery brewed fresh coffee, the gurgle of the machine filling the quiet. She handed Auden a mug, their fingers lingering. "You don't have to decide alone," Emery said, her voice steady. "But hiding from it. That's what they've done to you for years. Don't let them win." Auden sipped, the warmth spreading through her chest. But doubt lingered like the steam rising from the cup. "Easy for you to say. Your family's got the rainbow flags out." Emery chuckled softly. A bittersweet sound. "Yeah. But it wasn't always. Remember when my dad didn't speak to me for months? Pain doesn't discriminate." She paused, setting her mug down with a soft thud. "Auden, you're the strongest person I know. Your words heal others, let them heal you too." The drive to the funeral was a tense 4 hours through misty evergreen forests, the windshield wipers swishing intermittently against light drizzle. Auden gripped the steering wheel of their old Subaru, knuckles white, while Emery navigated from the passenger seat, her hand occasionally resting on Auden's thigh, a silent reassurance. The radio played soft indie folk, but Auden barely heard it over the roar of memories, high school crushes hidden in notebooks. The sting of her father's disappointed sigh. The way her mother had thrown out her prom dress after learning it was for a girl. They arrived at the small church in her hometown. The air thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. Relatives milled about, their whispers halting as Auden entered, Emery's hand in hers. Her aunt approached, eyes narrowing. Auden. And this is? The judgment was palpable. A cold draft in the stuffy room. Emery. My partner, Auden said. Her voice firmer than she felt. The word partner echoed. Drawing stares. During the service, as the pastor droned on about eternal peace, Auden sat rigid. Emery's thumb tracing soothing patterns on her palm. The eulogy painted her mother as a saint, omitting the fractures. Auden's chest tightened. A sob threatening to escape. Afterward. At the graveside. Rain pattered softly on umbrellas like muffled applause. Auden's father stood apart. His face etched with grief and regret. He approached hesitantly. The crunch of gravel under his boots amplifying the moment. Auden, he rasped. Voice thick. We should have done better. But it was hollow. Too late. Emery squeezed her hand. Whispering. You okay? Auden shook her head. Tears mixing with rain. It hurts more than I thought. They walked away. The scent of fresh soil clinging to them. Back to the car where Auden finally broke. Sobs racking her body against the steering wheel. Emery held her. Letting the storm pass. As Auden's breathing steadied, Emery cupped her face. Eyes locking. Auden. Listen to me. Her voice was a lifeline. Soft yet unyielding. You're not broken because they couldn't see your worth. You're whole. And I love every piece of you, the hidden pains. The brave heart. One sentence, you deserve to be loved without apology. Those words pierced through the fog. A balm on wounds Auden had hidden for years. She stared at Emery. The rain drumming on the roof like a heartbeat. In that moment, the pain didn't vanish. But it shifted, shared. Lighter. Auden leaned in. Their lips meeting in a kiss salty with tears. Tender and affirming. Back in Seattle that night. Curled on the couch with takeout tie and the city lights twinkling outside. Auden felt a quiet shift. The pain was still there. A scar? But Emery's words had stitched it. Reminding her that love could heal. They talked late into the night. Laughter mingling with vulnerability. Building a future unmarred by the past. In the end, it wasn't about forgiveness from others, it was Auden forgiving herself. Saved by one sentence from the woman who saw her truly. Word count, 1028.